As all appears well in Ohio, there is a mystery still to be solved. A boy of the age around 20, named Edward Morton, would randomly abuse people behind his job. A lot of people around him were scared of his actions and how he thought. One place he has worked was Church's Chicken, and he has worked at Olive Garden. I started working at Church's Chicken in 2018, and my boss was Terry Gordon. As I worked there was this guy named Edward Morton. He was very rude. Like, he wouldn't just talk to anybody he didn't want. He'd literally stand there at the cash register just expecting for people to give him attention. Like, and I just thought it was so rude, like, for someone to have to pay their money all to give someone else respect. Like, to the point that it wasn't even enjoyable food. Like, why would I go to a restaurant and not want to enjoy myself? Or a fast food place. And I know some people in fast food are kind of some quick people, like you get your meal and go, but like this was a different story. Edward would only always seem like too serious, and like stuff would almost be brewing in him like at all times throughout the day, and it was just straight rage all around him. He actually got the job at Olive Garden, and I know Olive Garden is a nice place to eat and stuff like that. But at the time, if they ever let somebody work there, it was off of a murder. Yeah. So, as I had volunteered to be a team leader at Church's Chicken, I was working one day, and this girl Jaquaya was working with me. I was getting off my shift, and Edward had came in, and I was about to leave, and this guy had called, and he's like, "I needed help with my taxes. I need to know who your boss is." So I told him the name, and the girl out of nowhere said, "That's unprofessional. You shouldn't gave a boss's name. If a customer is asking you information about the place, you have to give that to them. Like, not to every detail, but you have to tell them at least, like, you obviously have to tell someone who the boss is. What are they gonna do? What are you gonna do to stand there and lie? They go to the place and find out the truth." So obviously, I just told them it wasn't a big of a deal. She tried to make it a big deal, and actually, it wasn't professional. When this girl would go in here, not even give anybody respect, and like just act however, like, and I'm like, that's rude, but like it's not rude just to give that information. She was just acting up, and after I got off, the Edward G came in and she told him the story, like, oh, she gave out the name, and he's like, I don't fuck with that nigga, and like, why bring these cuss words into a public environment when you're supposed to be on your shift and give them people respect? That's why they'd be paying their money. So why make it about something else when you know that's on you? And even if your boss gave you that permission to act like that, that's on you and that business. And that's exactly why that business did not survive. So as things went on, he tried to start some fight, and I stuck up to him. I'm like, dude, this is your shift. Like, what the hell is the problem? Then he acted like he's go outside, fight me, and all this stuff. I don't remember exactly what happened. I really don't. But as like I left, my hands were like all bloody, and the cops tried to pick me up and act like I had hit that girl. The girl told them wouldn't even touch this girl. It's a black girl. Like, what would I get from it? Like, nothing. Like, I wouldn't even think about that. The girl had sided with the dude and said that I had put my hands on her, and so they had arrested me and made me serve, like, not serve time, but they made me go to jail for like a few days, like a week. No. Yeah, and I didn't do anything. So after that, uh the um the lawyer involved in the case pretty much lied on people. Like, he didn't even give me a chance at all to speak. Like, I'm telling him, like, I didn't never put my hands on this girl. That's not even true at all. And he pretty much sided with them too, and said just because she said it, here's what he said: just because she said it at all, you had to go to jail. Yeah, no way. I swear. So I had to go to jail randomly, and then send up all these people to the point it's like, okay, now there is no justice in the situation, and now all these people can just do whatever. So that's where that happened. That injustice was never corrected in Mansfield, Ohio, and they let that happen. That Edward dude would run off being angry all day long. So he didn't really make himself known or anything for years after that. And I was on just an app where like guys can talk and stuff. And he tried to message me out of nowhere and act like he was gonna like try to meet me and stuff. And like how he talked at first was definitely along the lines of manslaughter, like for real. Like to the point that everywhere Edward Morton, whoever the hell this dude is, goes, the cops need to monitor him from now on. Yeah. Just because this dude wanted to get even behind it all, does not mean that he has a right to put his hands on other people. And if he ever tried, ever in this world, then he'd be in jail. And they never put him in jail for the first time. So Mansfield is the one relying off of people abusing people now. And that ain't right. They never serve time for it, and they just let things go on like that. Now, regardless of all these excuses as to why they didn't actually find the real person who was involved in all this stuff and they act like it was everybody else, I'm still wondering why they never found that person who put all this abuse on all these other people after they were so important off of just acting, however, playing inappropriate music at a public place, and not even that, treating people however they wanted to a certain degree, and they never said anything. So, in the future, on all this information and everything, I do hope that Edward Morton gets put life behind bars and not on some funny stuff as you don't have to see the person again. And even if it was that, then good. But mainly the fact that he can abuse people behind all this stuff, and we don't need people in that kind of pain for days at a time. If this Mansfield courtroom cannot get stuff straightened out to the point of the truth, they don't need to be making them decisions in the first place. If you can't get Edward Morton behind bars, then we're going to have to put people in your city behind bars. You could not have made an injustice like that with no information, nothing to rely on except lies, and expect to get less time from that. Good for in regards to the whole weirdo excuse that somebody's so weird to this Edward dude, are they ever going to get justice on what has happened in Mansfield, Ohio? Edward Morton will stalk younger men in Ohio and try to target them. If you notice with Edward Morton, whenever he don't get his way to people to a certain degree, he will abuse them. He will take things to the point in which he can look at things exactly as he needs to. Yeah. So, in conclusion, this needs investigated. Why Edward Morton has even seen these people. I know he's from Ohio. I know he has big dreams. He deserves whatever job he wants, all this stuff. But in all reality, people deserve to stay safe. And if people have went to public places and they've seen him out and about, regardless of how things just look, Edward Morton was trying to get even behind all this stuff. I mean, it explains the fight. It explains the random meshes with anger. It explains how he tries to get certain positions to people. Like, it explains why he's acting like this stuff. And I just don't feel like it was meant for a public place so much, but maybe a courtroom. If Edward Morton has actually put his hands on people, not even just like physically in person, like where the person knew, like in spirit, where they're like trying to like manipulate stuff behind stuff, because I have started seeing that recently. Someone will try to like use like some weapon, like when someone like isn't around, where they just know that, then he deserves to go behind bars. Like, that's not okay. He's taken from somebody. And I've noticed every time this Edward dude is brought up, he'll hurt somebody. He'll take something from somebody. And that's not right for real. I don't like how people get these positions in these like food places in Ohio and they will try to get even behind it all. Like, that's not right. Even if there's nothing to do in the world in Ohio, why make it at a public place? People are trying to get even when them places stuff's supposed to get better. We want stuff to get better. Not where people are trying to get even. That's too far. Yeah. Now with the court and the cops, what they should do. Well, if this Edward dude is trying to get his body closer to people off of just working at Church's Chicken or stuff happened there, they need to think about that for real. He can't be getting too close to people off the past, off of him expecting the future to be certain ways. He's only 20 something years old for real. He's expecting to get less time his own way. And everybody has to go through a courtroom. Even if he's trying to pull strings, don't let him get close to people's bodies. Because the whole point is that town's going to serve time. Everybody's going to serve time. But the whole point is Edward Morton was supposed to stay away from people to begin with. Oh, the real question is why let Edward Morton stalk and pretty much murder men over the fact that he's not getting what he wants from, you know, these places, his mind. But now Church's Chicken ain't there. Like, and this Edward dude, regardless of him living on his own, he cannot be around me in real life ever. It was not the point that he's going to be around. It's the point that you took that position as a team leader to not have Edward to be around like that, so you can learn your own way. And I know one thing for a fact, that Edward Morton's opinion behind people's jobs ain't just the world, but the courtroom needs to step in eventually and be like, dude, you can't get too close to people. Like, okay, I know you have an opinion, but maybe you can keep your body away. And if you're going to put physical pain on people, that is the courtroom. You're going to go to the courtroom. He's gonna have to go through trial. Is exactly what it is, and it's crazy how they're covering it up. How many days do you want to go in the future to stand pain to Edwin Morton? Like for real, because regardless of how it sounds, regardless of how it looks, things just being promising in Ohio does not account for people to be abused. Yeah, people have family here or there, but Ohio's too small of a state. Ohio is too small of a state to just have little drama like that. And this Edward you're trying to make it big drama. Like off of what? I think it's simply off the fact that he don't get what he wants from people and he wants to look a certain way. Yeah. And to all them people who thought this Edward dude was tough for trying to put his hands on somebody else, even them people and them singers and them actresses who have their own clout. That is disrespectful for real. You know that people don't deserve disrespected like that. And that person was sticking up for you, regardless of how you twist it here, this way and that way. But I don't really know why I would, because that's really messed up that I stuck up for you and you acted like you deserve less time from that. If black people follow the law, they do deserve less time. If black people try to bend the law, twist the law, manipulate the law, twist the law, they do not deserve less time from that. If anybody in the law in the world breaks the law, they deserve time, plain and simple. So it's not like I'm just blaming black people, but I'm sure even they know that that's not right. That people just get less time just because. And even if that Edward dude is chilling off the fact that he actually got away with treating a person however like that, well, the main point about it all is you're going to have to go to trial over this going this far in this person's life. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually you will, even if it's not your soul. Them children and them people deserve a lot better than some younger black dude to control them over nothing for no reason in the world. And if they're going to let this kind of dude, this Edward Morton dude, work for them, then they're going to have a lot more problems than they think because that is a trial. Just because Edward Morton is from Ohio does not mean they couldn't give him a life sentence. I want him to have a life sentence behind bars for life. And to that courtroom, they can at least straighten out why they put a whole bunch of people in time for no reason in the world. I would never put my hands on a girl. That is not me. No way, no how. And I know that guys have more strength than girls. Even if girls have more strength than guys, I'm still not gonna put my hands on a girl because that's not who I am, and I don't want that abuse to start. Like I'm not just like that. That's why I didn't like that on his shift. He decided to put his hands on someone else and display that kind of behavior. That's not something I would do. Keeping up with Edward Morton ain't reality. Edward Morton going to court for good, reality. That Edward dude and along with some other guys in Ohio have not served enough time to have real respect for people. And it's true.